Okay, viewers, we're just going to have a look at the Muslim world and what it's doing in Western civilizations. I'm trying to be fair on this subject. But if you look at the emptiness and the collusion of the politicians, you'll see how it has to be some kind of international agenda to destroy the West or something of this nature, because the people that are running the countries are in collusion with this immigration.
When you look at some of the reports coming out, especially the sex attacks on young girls, this isn't a trumped-up, overblown, oh, we're just handpicking the odd case that an asylum seeker or a migrant has committed this crime. It's day after day after day. And, I mean, look, for instance, this month, the rape in Leamington Spa, I'm not sure I even know about this one, had a reporting restriction placed on the case because the defence lawyer said the video the victim took of the attack was so harrowing, it risked disorder if the public saw it. In addition, Sultani Bakatash, also an Afghan national charged with the rape of 2 teenage girls in Bolton, Dawajan Ahmadzai, another Afghan national found guilty of 2 counts of sexual assault of a child. These are women and girls! These are little children! Having their lives destroyed! Someone's got to take responsibility for this. Surely somebody's head has to roll.
Yeah, it's complex, isn't it? And look, I think I agree with you on
the complex.
Line.
It's blimmin' easy. It's easy, Sebastian. You don't let men in from misogynistic medieval cultures where they stone women to death. You just say no. No. You've got nothing to do with us. You're not coming in.
So what would you do then? You'd have certain countries who just wouldn't accept asylum.
Exactly.
And which ones?
Well, Afghanistan for one, sorry, no, you pose too much of a risk to women and children. We've already brought in everyone that, seems to say they've got some sort of connection to the British military. I'm sorry, now we've looked at what's happening to our own, and you protect women and girls first, no to you, no to Eritrea. You can get those statistics of the people who are committing the worst possible crimes and just say no. Hungary has said no. Poland has said no. America's saying no. We get to say no. We're not the YMC blimmin' A of everybody in some far-flung, brutal, brutish, grim country who suddenly decides they want to live here. No, it's easy.
Well, let's start with where we agree, I think, which is that living under the Taliban is really, really horrible. And there will be many people who don't agree with the Taliban. And often, I don't know if you've noticed this, I certainly have, many people who leave these regimes and who you meet in real life, they leave because they hate what is happening in their own country. So they're completely...
Now, he's wrong. It's a half-truth. The intensity and the ferocity of the ideology of those countries is at its peak, and it's multiplied to a point where it's just wiping out their own communities and civilizations with the Sharia law and that turning on itself, because it implodes, it turns on the people that are under it. So these people are seeing a way out, which is in the Western civilizations. They wouldn't have a clue how these civilizations have become what they are. And unfortunately, even though they don't want to be under the direct consequences, whether they're innocent or not, of the decline of the countries that they're in under the Muslim laws and Islamic dominated rules, and even just the heathenistic ways in which these places are, they will bring that culture to the next country. It's just how it works. They will bring that culture. Now, whether it's covert initially or remains that way or turns overt and starts manifesting on the streets, which is what Alex has had enough of. She's absolutely had enough of it. And you can't blame her. People are being raped, wrecked, ruined. Alex Phillips, she's just had enough. But we'll go a little bit further. The politicians, really, they're just empty meat suits, the ones that are on the fence. There are some that are against it, but they're being outnumbered by the weak, woke, if you want to call it, just the weak politicians that think you've got to rescue people to get votes at the expense of the people they represent.
completely at odds with the attitude of the Taliban towards women. And therefore, I think it would be really problematic to essentially tar everyone with the same brush, to say, I'm sorry, we've looked at the statistics and many of your people...
Sometimes life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. Sometimes you've got to do that. And Afghanistan, you can go over the border to Pakistan. Oh, that's right. Even the Pakistanis don't want the Afghans anymore. There's 53 Islamic republics. If they want to go to misogynistic cultures, go there. It's not our problem. It shouldn't be at the expense of girls.
The first is that they are going there. The majority of the countries that take the most asylum seekers are in the Islamic world.
That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. The majority, there's war. Muslims destroy Muslims. I'm sorry, look, that offends people. Muslims do destroy Muslims. A lot of the Muslim countries will not integrate with them. They just won't take them because they know it's just going to be another layer to the complications that they already have. This guy's an empty meat suit. What's his name? Sebastian Selek.
By far, even in Europe, we fall behind France and Germany in terms of the numbers we take. And secondly, as I say, a lot of these people don't want to go to other misogynistic cultures. They don't like what they're living under in the Taliban, and who can blame them? It's awful. And therefore, they're seeking somewhere with better values. And I would like to think that Britain does have those better values. That we do.
But unfortunately, when you keep hearing day after day, can't even show the video of one sex attack because it's too harrowing. I'm sorry. We've had the grooming gang scandal. We're now beginning to see regularly what is happening to girls. Sebastian, come on. As a country, we just go, no. We can say no. It doesn't make us bad people to go, do you know what? Actually, I'm a bit worried and I want to protect our daughters of this nation first. Yeah, would you let anybody homeless come and live in your house? Just anyone, because they're homeless?
I'm not entirely sure where you're going with this.
Well, what I'm saying is I could say that anybody living on the streets is having a hard time. They probably wouldn't want to be living on the streets. So does that mean that you and I have to just say to anyone who's living on the streets, come on, I've got a spare room, in you come? Or would we worry about the integrity of our own houses, the safety, whether we could afford to look after this person, who they were?
I don't really think you can make the comparison there.
Of course you can.
Yeah, see, so you're wasting your time with the politicians. They're pretty well got their own agenda with it all, at the consequence of the people they're supposed to represent. Okay, so I'm going to be fair. Let's have a listen to this. See if you can make sense of this.
That Islam and Muslims are two different things.
Absolutely.
Islam, okay, let's say...
Islam is the cult of life.
Good. So Christianity and the Christians are also two different things.
Yes.
Judaism
and the Jews
are different.
So
because these scriptures teaches they teach peace.
So basically what they're trying to say is they're getting it all wrong. I can agree with that to a certain extent, but they're not different. If you're under the ideology of Islam, it will manifest. If you're under the ideology of Christianity, it will manifest. Judaism, it will manifest. And I guess a moral failure of that is sin and the different levels that come with that sin. But you try and make sense of this. It's really, really weird.
Non-violence, let's say peaceful coexistence and all that. But it is the people that do not understand the scriptures. Which lead us to what we see.
Look at even in Surah Al-Mumtahana, Allah Azza wa Jal said, in the 60th chapter of the Quran, Allah said, if they do not kill you, don't kill them.
That's not true. That's probably not true. It's not true in its fullest context, because we know that Muhammad was a raider and marauder, even on Muslim people. And if you didn't agree with Islam, you either paid the jizya or you were assassinated. So he's sort of sitting on the fence here, this guy. He's not telling the truth.
If they do not take you away from your homes, don't retaliate against them. Live peacefully with them.
Now, is that after you've raided their country or before you've raided their community, I should say? Is that before or after you've raided the community? Okay, because when you go back to Muhammad originally was hanging around the Christians and the Jews as a preacher. He come up with a cult-type message which nobody believed or wanted or accepted, because particularly the Jews had monotheistic God. They didn't want some other person coming along with another God. And remember, Jesus said these people would come along. You've got to remember, Muhammad 600 years or so after, or 500 or so odd years after Jesus. So Christianity and Judaism was well established. He was rejected by the Christians and the Jews as a preacher, and this is when he got his nose out of joint and broke away and started his cult. Now, it didn't originally start as Islam or being a Muslim. They were all Arabs. They could have been Ishmaelic or Haganistic Arabs or whatever other sort of Arabs run around over there at the time without getting too specific. But they were Arabs, marauders, raiders, and that's all there was to it. And the Jews and the Christians rejected the preaching of Muhammad after a fair length period of time, and that's when he broke away and started the cult.
Allah was addressing the Messenger of Allah sallallahu.
I think
Because
there is a
sometimes
big
even
problem.
Muhammad sallallahu, he will try to do something. Allah said, no, don't do that, because you're harming someone. Look at, for example, when the issue happened between his two wives in Surah Tahrim. He said that he will never eat honey, according to some of the Mufassirin.
Okay.
He said, حرمت على نفسي. Allah said, أتحرم ما أحل الله لك تبتغي مرضات أزواجك. So Islam is always, religion itself is to guide humanity, is to guide the humans.
MashaAllah.
So this is why I was listening to,
Okay, so it guides humanity, but ultimately, let's ask the question, ultimately, where does Islam guide humanity to? War. It either has to be ruling or be in war. There's no peace with Islam. Now, they'll covertly cut and shred the ultimate instruction of jihad and say they don't read this book and read that book, but ultimately it has to lead to war. That's the only place it can lead, because it has to dominate and take over.
I was reading one of the professors writing, he said, if we have a person like Muhammad today to lead the world, there will be peace globally.
How about if we have someone like Isa to lead?
The same. Jesus, Islam, we believed all the prophets, the messages, all the prophets, their messages are one. They are one mission, one goal. There are no differences. Because the way
he's saying there's no difference between Islam and Christianity. Well, I think Islam and Christianity would argue with that. We won't go any further with that one because they're totally deluded, that bloke.
Here is a clip from Hajj, okay? You see a tiny girl, maybe a year old, barely walking, standing there holding a plate of dates. Pilgrims, men in their ihram, are stopping and eating the dates and kissing her, and then you get to see that she just got tired, she just collapsed, and that eats from her own plate. To average Western observers or someone who doesn't know anything about Islam, this looks culture. It looks like love and attention at the same place, right? You might even think, oh, don't they just love this kid? But for me, I cannot unsee what I know. And if you open the Islamic sources, this is not cute at all. This is simply tragedy. So let's apply Islamic logic to this. Because you can't judge this by the eyes of Westerners. You have to judge it by the book that those Mr. Muslims are following. First thing, look at the child. She's 1. Maybe be very generous, 1.5. She's wrapped up in hijab. Why? Why does a toddler need to cover her hair? Please, explain it to me. You've got Surah 33:59. Believing women cover up so that they are more suitable and they will be known and not abused. You've got this greatest commentary, Ibn Kathir, explains this how. Hijab makes Muslim men to know who are believers and who are slaves. Because slave women who didn't cover were seen as available. They are seen essentially as a public property for use. Ibn Kathir goes further and then says, well, those uncovered women seen as whore. Let's look back to this toddler. If the hijab is there to stop men from thinking a woman is a whore or a slave to be abused, why are you putting it on 1-year-old? Are you telling me that without scarf, those Mr. Muslims who are in the holy house of Allah would be tempted by a baby? Seriously? Are you admitting that in Islam, the female body from infancy is viewed as a sexual object that must be covered to prevent temptation? You are conditioning a baby believing that her body is the source of shame and danger before she can even speak or walk. Like, seriously. Look, here's another thing. Look at those Mr. Muslims. The way they are interacting with this toddler. They are not just patting her head. They are kissing her face repeatedly. Stranger after stranger is kissing the face of a baby. Like, seriously, think about it. Today, if you see a man walk up to a 1-year-old and kiss her on the face in a park, what do? You call 999, right? Mr. Policeman, come and help out. But in here, in this clip, everyone is like, wow, blessing, blessing, blessing. This is like seriously stressful. Here's another thing. Why the boundaries are so loose? You've got this amazing verse, Surah 65, verse 4 in the Quran, which lays down the rules and regulations for divorce. Talks about what is the waiting period for women who stop bleeding, and then talks about, and for those who yet to bleed. So understand what is that means. You can't divorce a wife unless you are married to her. The Quran here grants permission to be married to and divorce female who are too young to bleed. Islam does not give you minimum age for marriage. All you need to do is listen to Dawah gangs. They are simply screaming that out now. Even 4 years is available now. You've got their prophet, Muhammad, peace, police, FBI, and child protection be upon him, have a sex with a child. Aisha, she was 6 years old, and he consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old. So, when I see those Mr. Muslims are kissing this baby, all I'm remembering is, there is no hard line that says, this child, she is off the limits. The text allows for the marriage of a girl who is not bleeding yet. So when you remove the biblical definition of the child and replace it with a system that's allowed marrying with the toddlers, this is the visual result. A little girl, exhausted, used as a prop, being touched by a strange man because the ideology those strange men following says this is little woman rather than child to be protected. See, let me point out something as well. Okay, what is the reality of Hajj, You kind of think, yeah, billions of them go to Hajj every year to pray, to fast, to sacrifice, all that, right? You got the Islamic tradition talks about Mr. Muslim man is walking in Mecca, in Hajj, while semen is dripping from their private part. You think about it, why semen is dripping from them? You've got individuals who are stating that certain Dawah gangs are traveling to Mecca, instead of fasting and praying, they enter temporary marriage, secret marriages for sex. They do their misyar, their muta over there, under the halal sex while they are taking their spiritual trip. There is a whole business of sexual exploitation masked as religious marriages happening in the shadow of Kaaba. So, look at this toddler, right? She's 1 or 1.5. She eventually collapsed. She can't even hold a plate. She's tired. She has been objectified for blessings. She's been sexualized by hijab. She's been conditioned to submit to physical affection of a strange man. This isn't love. This is grooming. You know what? If this doesn't stop, this little girl in coming years will be someone's hotel sex wife in somewhere else.
That when you bring people in from stone-aged third world cultures, they behave like stone-aged third world people. No matter where you are, you could be in the first world, Western world, and, well, they're still going to behave their culture. It's amazing how that happens. Look at this. In Iraq, a girl was seen walking alone without a hijab on New Year's Eve, so hundreds of men gathered around to harass her. Muslims considered celebrating New Year haram, so they believed that they had the right to attack her. Celebration of New Year's is not allowed in Muslim cultures, and so we might as well just, attack the innocent girl right here. You can see it's like horrifying. Girl in Iraq spotted walking around attacked by Muslim men. Why would you want to bring this into American cities? I mean, ask the question here, do you want women to be able to walk around on the streets, or is this something that we want here in our country? Is it going to be allowed for women in America in the coming years to even be outside by themselves? You got to ask that question. Obviously, this is something that is being answered throughout the Western world. And the answer is, of course, no, it's not allowed anymore because, well, we brought in too many of the third worlders from the cultures that say, we're not going to let women walk outside on New Year's Eve, for instance. Here is a German Twitch streamer who was walking around the Muslim parts of Cologne, Germany, when she was hit in the head multiple times with rock. Now, she was doing this in order to prove that it's safe there, but of course it's not. So she's wandering around and she keeps getting rocks thrown at her, pelted by the Muslims who have been imported to her country. Remember, she's a German and she's being bludgeoned in the head. for doing so on New Year's Eve. It's just one of many videos throughout Europe that shows exactly how dangerous things have become. You have paramilitary forces wandering throughout London, trying to keep London safe. You can see here Germany with migration and Poland without migration. You know, maybe there was something to being in cultures and societies that have things in common, like religion and language and faith and the desire to live in clean, safe places. But when you import people like this, here is an Islamic scholar saying that celebrating New Year's is a major sin that leads to disbelief, paganism, and fornication. And if you disobey Allah and celebrate it, he will be very angry and punish you. Well, okay, what do you think is happening here? They're just doing what they've been told, right? This is what they've been told. Migrant gangs attaching Dutch police on New Year's Eve. It's become a New Year's Eve tradition in many Western societies, but they're not Western societies anymore. You brought the third world in and they've conquered. Australia, Germany, France have all canceled their New Year's Eve celebrations, and we all know why, because Muslims want to use the events to riot and to kill. And that is precisely what we saw around the world on New Year's Eve. The West cancel's New Year's Eve threats due to Islamist threats during gathering. The FBI announced that they had an Islamist threat that they were able to stop, but they were going to attack a New Year's Eve festival in North Carolina. They announced that this morning. German girl went out on New Year's Eve to show it safe around Muslims, and they stoned her. Well, class, what did we learn? We learned that it's not actually safe. Every open borders country will be punished by third world immigrants. Society of white liberal women on SSRIs didn't vote with their toxic empathy. Liberal women voted for this. You know who they didn't vote for this? Polish and Hungarian women. I mean, again, yeah, you voted for this. She voted for this award. That's right. Afghanistan in the 1970s, Afghanistan in 2012, Iran in the 1970s, Iran in 2012, Europe in 2050. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. This is your Germany now. This is what Germany looks like now. Good God. It's like, is it too far gone? I guess you have to ask the question, like, is it too far gone? Do you see any Germans here? Shouldn't Germany be for the Germans? Shouldn't Japan be for the Japanese? China be for the Chinese? I mean, I'm like, right? Migrant gangs attacked random people and rescue services and workers in Birmingham. This is in Antwerp. You can see they're burning churches in Antwerp. And they're like in Antwerp, it's really bad. The Islamist migrants are really, really bad. And it's like, I think it's something like 8 out of 10 births are migrant children. It's like in a single generation, it'll be over. Germany's new celebrations, dead, maimed, limbs torn off, 400 injured in Berlin alone. The head of the police union says, we are in a state of war, complete and total collapse. Look at this. It's terrible. So awful. These were the most Western of Western societies. These are the societies. Look at this. Amsterdam police say they face unprecedented violence of mobs and youth. So I wonder. The church, which overlooks the largest park in the city, caught fire, and the cause is under investigation. I'm sure they'll never be able to replace this. They'll never be able to rebuild it. They'll never find who did it. If only we knew. If only we knew what the motivation could be. Why does Europe have to look like this? Why does Europe have to look like this? This is the cradle of Western civilization. And it's, well, gone. It's gone. It's a crazy video that I saw from a streamer who's German, and he's like walking through German cities, and he's explaining this. He's explaining that, like, he doesn't have a country anymore. It's incredibly sad. Here you go.
What's up? You okay? Fine. Yeah, good. What? I will video whatever I want in my country, okay? You don't tell me. Look, they're cheeky. They think they can tell us. Alles gut, bei dir? No, it's okay. Thanks. It's fine. He just tried to offer me speed on camera. Man. The brass neck on these people telling a German what he can and can't do in his own country. I'm sick of it. I'm not having it, guys. And all the Germans, and all the police, and all the politicians know what's going on. They know that they're selling hard drugs here, not weed. They're selling crack and speed and heroin. And guess what? They're okay with it. They're so heavily indoctrinated that it's fine. It's normal. You have to understand. They come from a hard background. You know, they also need to make a living somehow. Just everything about it. Everything about this city is just fucked. And the locals, the natives, are completely cucked, brainwashed.
When he recite revelation, when he do what? Recite revelation. What is revelation?
Revelation is the book of the Quran.
Thank you. Shaitan, he threw in it. What he threw in it? Ayat.
Allah,
He threw in the
Allah
revelation.
abolishes that. Allah abolishes that which Satan throws on it. So Satan cannot throw anything in it because Allah abolishes it.
How Allah will abolish something is not
Satan
exist.
puts
Hold
it
on,
into
hold
the
on.
Quran.
So listen. Allah will abolish after shaitan he throw in it or before?
Well, but you made the claim that Satan put verses in the Quran.
It's not
You
me.
can throw something
I did not. The Quran says that. The Quran said he throw in it. He throw in it. What he throw?
but he did
He
not
throw
succeed.
his words. Where? In the recitation of Muhammad. So Muhammad recite Quran. Shaitan, when Muhammad reciting, he throw some verses into the Quran. You call them verses, you call them word, doesn't matter. Still, they are part of the Quran. The Quran confirmed.
In my translation, it says the devil contrives in his wishes.
See, first of all,
But
you
God
said you are a
abolishes what
Quran
the devil
only.
contrives.
You said you are
No,
Quran
I'm
only.
saying my other translation.
Listen.
Wait.
You
I'm
said
saying another
you said you are a Quran only, but you are translation only. Because each time I show you something, you say my translation. So listen, he throw in it. Okay, Allah will abolish what? Tell me, Allah will abolish
Can you
what?
throw a verse literally? Can you
Allah
throw a
will
verse
abolish.
literally?
Allah will abolish what?
Shaitan from throwing the verses.
No, he threw it already. Guys, did he say verses? Did he say verses? A second ago he said, where it says verses, where it says ayah, where it
Your
says
claim
ayah.
was verses.
Now he said, Allah will abolish what shaitan throw verses. You did beat yourself.
Allah abolishes whatever Shaitan throws in, but it doesn't specify verses.
You said verses. It's you said for a second ago. You said that.
And also, it's talking about recitation.
And also,
So if I'm reciting something and Shaitan wants to throw something in, maybe he's trying to throw his deception in me. But Allah abolishes it. So it's not necessitating
all
that
right,
he's
hold on,
throwing
hold
something
on.
in the physical
Okay,
book Quran. Because you cannot literally throw a verse because it's not a physical item.
so how Allah, Abdul, what physical item? Are you stupid or what? This is words. The guy is talking. Shaitan, according to Muhammad, throw satanic words in his mouth, in his recitation. It's in front of you. And Allah will abolish it. If there is nothing there to abolish, why Allah will abolish it? So it's in the Quran already. This is what the Quran is
You
saying.
can abolish something that's non-physical.
Allah will abolish. In fact, this is in the future. Allah will abolish whatever shaitan throw in. And how you can confirm that shaitan, whatever
That he
shaitan...
may make what is thrown in by Shaitan a trial for those whose hearts is a disease. So it's talking about people's hearts.
Thank you very much. So Allah abolished nothing. The satanic verse is still
Then
there.
again, what does this have to do with hadith?
Abdul, I'm showing you. I'm not
Yes.
showing you a hadith now. What's wrong with you? I'm showing you.
Okay,
You
so
said to me
you
you
abandoned
follow.
the topic.
You said to me you follow Quran only. I'm showing you that your Quran is messed up. You are following the book of Shaitan. You just said in verse number 53 that those verses.
No, you're just twisting words.
Listen.
Semantics. That's what it is.
Look what it says. To prove to you that the one who wrote the Quran is an idiot. It says whatever Shaitan throw in is going to be in the disease in the heart of those hypocrites, those who seek fitna. The fact the word hypocrite is not there. Those who seek fitna see the trouble. Okay, but who is going to believe in the Quran? The Muslims. So if the Quran, Allah abolished the satanic verses, how the satanic verses?
Where does it say satanic verse?
What's wrong with
It
you?
does not say satanic.
You said to me a minute ago. You said to me Allah will abolish those verses. You said that to me. You agreed.
It's a slip of the tongue, but there's no verses. Okay.
When
When you're talking fast, when
Shaitan he throw his statement in the Quran, isn't it? This is part of the Quran now.
Does it say statement? Shaitan threw in it.
So what he throw in it? Poo-poo? See through words. The words is a verse.
If I throw a punch, am I throwing something into the Quran?
It says here.
Shaitan is just trying
It
to
says in his recitation. What bunch? What bunch? It's in his recitation. Recitation. So Shaitan, he made Muhammad recite false recitations in front of you.
Laws are not there to prevent hate, they're there to shut us up. and one level's being shut up and the other level get amplified opportunity to promote their hate and intolerance. If they want to implement real hate speech laws, this would be banned. The Quran would be banned tomorrow because there's 100 verses in here that call for violence.
Lots of books will be banned. You can buy Mein Kampf.
But that's banned. No, okay, you can buy Mein Kampf.
I thought you were going to pull it out there, Tommy.
No, you can buy Mein Kampf, but these 3 books are banned by Amazon, yeah? This is just my life story. This is not my opinion. This is the Quran, and what this Quran does. Do you know the term Islam is a religion of peace?
Mm-hmm.
I have heard that.
Yes.
But no one had ever said it until George W. Bush. We sat for months trying to find, historically, figures, military, religious, political, that ever said Islam was religion of peace. And all you'll find is Islamic leaders saying, no, it's a war manual. It's warrior manual, yeah? So that lie, which was told by George W. Bush, is now just repeated as some sort of fact. But these books were all banned by Amazon. As you just said, you can buy Hitler's book. So how can you ban? There's nothing hatred in these. But you're literally burning books now. And you're burning books that challenge your failures again. And what is the demographical change to this nation? And what does it look like? So as anyone watching this, okay, 5-6% of the country are from the Islamic background. Look at the mayhem. From 5-6%. What do you actually think it's going to be like at 20%? This isn't fear-mongering. We've got a duty as English men and women to protect this country and to protect our kids. And everyone's seen what's happened since October 7th. It's accelerated. Well, what are we going to do? Because unfortunately, a lot of the groups that were for harmony are actually calling for the obliteration of an entire state of people. Mm-hmm. And people have seen it now. There's no smoke screens. People can see the hate. And it's not a minority, it's mainstreamed. And unfortunately, that mainstream hate is coming from the left and the liberal left, along with an Islamist alliance, which we've seen this alliance before. We've seen it in Iran. We've seen where the communists and the Marxists joined along with the Islamists to overthrow and topple the country. And the first thing that the Islamists done is kill them. So we've seen it. And I just think that, do you know, as a generation of British men, are we really scared to talk about this shit? Are we actually going to remain silent and look at our country and see that there's 1,000 years of Christian history in this country, over 1,800 years Christianity's been in Britain, but 1,000 years of England. We're going to let, in 70 years, spineless, corrupt, globalist politicians import medieval backward cultures into this country and allow them to grow dominant and superior to us? That's what we're seeing. Luton is a blueprint for every town and city. You can ignore it because you think it's Luton, but it's your town tomorrow. And the demographical change and the growth in this nation shows that.
Do you remember what they talked about in the House of Commons?
Probably Islamophobia.
No, they talked about online hate. We got a crackdown on their colleague has just been murdered by an Islamist.
Somalian jihadist, wasn't it?
Right, murdered by an Islamist in a surgery, in a constituency surgery, i.e. the thing that they all go and do.
And his family is still trying to fight.
They're still trying to get
his poor family is still trying to fight.
His daughter.
His daughter's still trying to fight against a system that. Do you know why they can't have that conversation? Again?
I can tell you why, because I've speak to them. They're all terrified. And by the way, like you said, they're not wrong. They're not wrong to be terrified.
The problem is they're terrified, but we're not anymore.
I don't think the public is terrified.
The public are not terrified anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, you put us in prison. Yeah, well, that didn't work, did it, mate? You know what I mean? That doesn't work. Okay? That doesn't work. And it doesn't work because once there's a reality that the country is at stake, that the entire Christian nation, that the entire population and culture and identity and children's future is at stake, we don't care about you putting us in jail. Yeah? Because, these are an argument I had with my ex-wife so many times. Yeah? She's like, just shut up. What about the kids? I said, this ain't about the kids. What about their kids?
I mean, it is about the kids.
But it is. But what I mean is, she's like, just shut up to make sure our kids have a say. I said, okay, but what about when they have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah? And they're a minority. I know what it's like to be a minority in Islam. I've seen it my whole life. I know what it's like. Go ask the Christians in Afghanistan. Go ask the Christians in Iraq. Go ask them in Syria right now. Go and ask the Druze. Go and ask them what's happening.
You can't, because of
shout out.
And they're all dead or getting killed.
Still think that the horrific mass shooting of innocent people in Australia at Bondi Beach by Islamic terrorists happened because of what's going on in Israel. I have news for you. What starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews. In fact, that's only the beginning. Do you actually think that you are immune from jihad and Islamic terrorism just because you're not Jewish? The Middle East used to be Christian. In fact, Christianity was founded in the Middle East. To this very day, Christians in the Middle East are some of the most persecuted people by the Islamic jihadis. And now Western politicians have opened the floodgates into your Christian countries, allowing all of these people to come in. Do you know what they're saying? You know what? Let me show you. Here's an Islamic imam in Australia preaching a sermon in a mosque. Let's just listen in here.
We can't take away from the fact, first and foremost, that jihad is definitely part of our deen. And as Muslims, we should never ever shy away from this.
Now, some of you are going to say, oh, well, jihad means personal struggle. Jihad is a peaceful thing. It's just, an internal struggle. Let's see what this Islamic imam has to say about his thoughts on jihad.
And yes, there may be types of jihad, but of the peak of this jihad is that which the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ spoke about, and I'll read the hadith soon. And that is fighting in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. Did
you catch that? This Islamic imam in Australia is saying that Muhammad, their prophet, wants Muslims to focus on the fighting version of jihad. The version where they yell Allahu Akbar while they blow themselves up or chop people's heads off. I'm not saying it. He's the one that's saying it.
A physical fight, not the fighting of the nafs. Although your nafs is needed in order for your physical to go out in the path of Allah. So we're not talking about the struggle of the nafs, we're talking about the physical jihad, the physical struggling against the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to make the word of Allah Azza wa Jal the highest.
Okay, so how much clearer does it need to get? This is the most insane, this is what's insane about this entire situation. These people are literally preaching about how they need to murder infidels, non-Muslims, in their mosques. They're preaching it as if it's the most normal thing in the world. And then who knows how many people are, sitting back there in the mosque listening to what this imam is saying. And by the way, they're not saying this in their own countries. This is in Australia. So these people have literally immigrated to Australia. And now, while they are in Australia, they are preaching about murdering the infidels. That's you, by the way, that's you. So they are preaching about murdering infidels because that's what Muhammad told them to do. And he even clarifies. He says, I'm not talking about the internal struggle. He says very explicitly, I'm talking about the fighting kind of jihad. That's the kind of jihad that we need to do. Does it get any more clearer than that? Here's another one.
If the ASIO likes it or not, if they want to deport me from Australia or not, the jihad is the solution for the ummah. Muslims, so interested and so thrilled and looking forward to join the mujahideen. Muslims, they starving for jihad. Their hearts are aching for jihad.
There you go. They are making their intentions pretty clear. By the way, mujahideen means fighters of jihad, mujahid, right? So when he's talking about the mujahideen, he's basically talking about the army of jihad fighters. Again, what do they mean by jihad? They made it very explicit. Jihad is the fight. Jihad is murdering infidels in the name of Muhammad and Allah and Islam in order to conquer the land. Now, why do they want to conquer the land, you might ask? Great question. Here's another Australian imam, and let's just hear what he has to say before we pass any judgment, okay?
Every single Muslim must believe in the implementation of the Sharia. As we believe, the Sharia is the solution to the problems of mankind. But you don't say, I want to implement it now when you're not even strong. You want to implement it now when you don't even have power. You want to implement it now when you don't even have support. You want to implement it in a Western country. If we want to see the Sharia being implemented, and we want to see the Khilafah of the Islam being existing, then we need to strive
Khilafah of Islam is referring to the Islamic Caliphate, by the way.
for it. When Muslims are in state of strength, then they can start dealing with power. Allah tells you your first jihad is to bring people to the deen of Allah. Then your second jihad is to fight. Me supporting a kafir against another Muslim, it's haram.
Okay, so he just said it. Kafir is infidel, right? So he's basically saying, I will never support an infidel against another Muslim. He's saying that he wants Sharia law. He wants to basically destabilize Australian government and take over and implement Sharia law and bring Australia under the global Islamic Caliphate. So going back to my main point, At any point in time in those speeches, did you hear anything about Jews? Did you hear anything about Israel? Did you hear anything about how their hatred is targeted towards this so-called fake oppression in Gaza? No. All they spoke about was infidels, and all they spoke about was jihad against the infidels. That's you. So you need to wake up and you need to make a choice, because your government officials have literally imported people into your countries who hate you, who want to murder you, who want to destroy your way of life.
Get down. Boys, get down. Oh my God. Fireworks. Hey, stay there. Stay. You're okay, stay.
I don't know if it's a live weapon or not.
The Western liberal mind conceives of itself as being good because it's liberal. The Western liberal tells him or herself, I'm a good person because I'm liberal, and I'm liberal because I'm a good person, which means that I believe in things like the brotherhood of man, conscience and compassion, looking after the wretched of the world, the poor and the wretched of the world, standing up against abuses of power. These are all good things, and that's why I'm a liberal. And I'm a liberal because of all these good things. So, one of the expressions of my goodness and my liberalism is that I support the Palestinian Arabs who I think are an oppressed people, and they are oppressed by the Israelis who have taken their land away from them, and they are oppressing them. Now, every part of that, in my view, is a lie. But put that to one side. This is what the liberal progressive thinks. And the liberal progressive thinks that supporting the Palestinians is therefore something that makes the liberal progressive a good person. October 7 happened. And suddenly you have a situation in which the people that the liberal progressive has supported as being oppressed, and everything they do is a legitimate defense or resistance against oppression, suddenly we can see that those people have turned into the most bloodthirsty savages that could ever be imagined. Not just people who kill, but who slaughter in a sadistic, barbaric, debauched and depraved fashion that people can't imagine ever happening. They have slaughtered, raped, beheaded, tortured, burned alive babies, children, women, elderly men and others, and in which the people that they have supported as being oppressed and good people because they're victims are these savages. And the people they have represented as oppressors are the victims. They can't have that. Because if they have that, if they admit that that is the case, then their entire worldview is shattered, because the people, you know, the cause they have supported as representing goodness is shown to be evil. And what does that make them? It makes them evil.